What if an animated film not only predicted the future, but also coincidentally matched biblical prophecies? In a strange scene at the Asra Festival, Springfield residents stand next to a monument bearing the image of Chavis Khan, a symbol that not only evokes modern culture, but also reflects images from the Book of Revelation. Over the decades, The Simpsons has made shocking predictions about global pandemics, technological control, environmental disasters, war, and even artificial intelligence domination of the world. Many people think it's just a coincidence. But when we compare these scenarios with the Bible, especially the end-time schools, coincidences suddenly become a sign. And if 2026 is indeed a turning point for humanity, as many experts warn, then perhaps what seemed like a cartoon joke is becoming the final warning call for a world that has forgotten God's word. Today we will explore the amazing prophecies that The Simpsons have made and compare them with divine visions written in the Bible. Is this a game of imagination or a strange mirror? Reflects the ultimate fate of the world. Nuclear disaster. Sometimes funny stories reflect a deep fear in the human heart. In many episodes of The Simpsons, Tam-Ha is mentioned as a joke, but also as a dark prophecy hidden under the cartoon cloak. In the episode Homer the Great, the writers mention a nuclear meltdown as part of a mysterious organization's plan to rule the world. It may sound funny at first, but the idea has intrigued many people, especially in the context of nuclear arsenals still waiting day and night for the order to launch. In another episode, the consequences are described more clearly. The entire city of Springfield becomes a wasteland after a nuclear explosion, leaving only Homer Simpson alive, wandering among the abandoned buildings. The streets are quiet and lifeless. Even though it is a cartoon, the image is not strange to what the Book of Eerily foretold thousands of years ago. Isaiah 24 verses 1-3 reads, "Behold, the Lord will make the earth hollow and destroy it. He will overturn its surface and devastate its inhabitants. The earth will be utterly empty and utterly plundered, for the Lord has spoken it." And then in verses 5-6, the reason is revealed, because they have violated the law, changed the statutes, and broken the everlasting covenant. Therefore, the curse will swallow up the earth, and those who live in it will be destroyed. One day, if humans continue to pursue their ambitions for power, continue to build weapons capable of destroying themselves, what is described in The Simpsons may no longer be a satire, but a divine warning from God through cartoons. The world today is escalating armed tensions, and with just one wrong decision, the whole planet can leave the area of eternal silence. The Simpsons once left the vaguely standing in the midst of the ruins with an unanswered question. What have we done with this world? The Bible answers, because you have rebelled against my laws. US-China tensions. When cartoons talk about war. In a special episode, The Simpsons shocked many people when it depicted Lisa Simpson becoming the President of the United States, succeeding a country that had just gone through a chaotic term under Donald Trump. Lisa entered the White House not with glory, but with a serious crisis. The United States is heavily in debt, especially with China, and the country is on the brink of political, economic, and military tension. There were no gunshots, no warships firing, but the atmosphere of simmering war covered the entire episode. Lisa was running the country while trying to appease a rival who was holding power in his hands. The way The Simpsons presented it, half humorous and half serious, made viewers feel uncomfortable because it was so similar to the reality happening today. In Matthew chapter 24, verses 6-7, it is written, "You will hear of wars and rumors of wars. Keep yourself from being troubled, for these things must happen. But the end is not yet. Nation against nation and kingdom against kingdom." God's prophecy is not only true, but also painfully accurate. The world today lives in a time of war rumors, where every declaration, every diplomatic move can lead to escalating global conflict. Simpsons' time is like a strange mirror that has reflected this world. One side is cartoon, the other is reality, but both are pointing to the same evil reminder. If humanity does not humble itself, all powers will push each other down the path of destruction. And if 2026 is the turning point that many experts predict, then what we really need is not more weapons or strategies, but a return to truth, to the Bible, and to the one who controls history. Artificial intelligence rules. When humans gradually give power to machines. Have you ever imagined a world where machines make decisions for humans? And if that is no longer a distant vision but a reality right before our eyes, The Simpsons once presented a scenario that many people used. In 2026, artificial intelligence, AI, is not just a tool, but gradually becomes the operator of the game from work to social behavior. In one episode, robots programmed to serve humans in the park began to attack after a small error crashed the entire system. From fun, AI technology became an existential threat. Today, it is happening step by step. AI is used to automate jobs, process data, monitor behavior, and even make decisions on behalf of the entire council. The speed of development is so fast that many experts warn we are entering a dangerous gray area where AI is no longer a tool but becomes the controller. And in the Bible, this was prophesied thousands of years ago. Revelation chapter 13 verse 15. It was given the power to make the image of the beast speak, and to make all who do not breathe return to the image of the beast were all killed. A talking figure, a creature without a soul, without humanity, but with the power to force people to obey, even kill those who do not obey. Is this just a symbol or an accurate description of a future technology like AI that can decide, monitor behavior, and control the right to exist of humans? Today, self-driving cars, facial recognition cameras, total surveillance systems all are connected together in a system that even humans can hardly understand. And if one day the machine no longer listens to human commands but gives the opposite command, it may be too late. Maybe The Simpsons is just joking now, but Revelation is not. Brain chip implants can send messages when thinking. It sounds like something out of a science fiction novel, but the prospect of reading thoughts and controlling devices with thoughts is gradually becoming a reality. In early 2024, Elon Musk's company Neuralink performed the first brain chip implants in humans. The very noble goal, helping paralyzed people control computers, phones, or a robotic arm with just their thoughts, opening a new era of communication and personal freedom. But because of that power, many people are starting to worry. If brain chips can transmit and receive signals, can they be penetrated, controlled, or hacked like computers? If just thinking is sending, what will happen to privacy, to personal thoughts, and the most sacred inner freedom of humans? And that is also the prophecy in the Bible that echoes like a warning bell. Revelation chapter 13 verses 16 to 17 says, "It comes before all, small and great, rich and poor, free and slave. They must receive a mark on their right hand or on their forehead. And no one can buy or sell unless he has the mark, which is the name of the beast or the number of his name." In the context of brain chip technology, many people are starting to doubt whether this is the first step to the global control system described in the prophecy. When identity, consciousness, finances, and behavior can all be connected into a single system, the line between profit and slavery becomes blurred. In the episode Holiday of Future Past of The Simpsons, Homer receives a message directly into his brain via a device called Bello. Unfortunately, the message contains a virus that manipulates Homer even, a satirical but extremely realistic scene. If this technology falls into the wrong hands, now The Simpsons has joked, but God never jokes. And if that scenario really happens in 2026 or the not-so-distant future, the final question is, are we ready? Or are we sleeping peacefully while the seal has quietly appeared, not through preaching but through modern grafting technology? Environmental disaster. When animation reflects reality, in the Simpsons movie released in 2007, Homer Simpson adopts a pig that people often call a spider pig. It sounds funny, but Homer's actions lead to a terrible environmental disaster. Although Marge warned about proper waste disposal, Homer, not wanting to miss out on the donut promotion, dumped all of the pig's waste into the city lake. As a result, the lake became so toxic that the government had to seal off the entire Springfield with a giant glass roof. People panicked, and life was completely turned upside down. Although it was a cartoon, the message conveyed by the film was extremely serious. If we continue to be indifferent to the environment, the consequences will come sooner than we think. Today, when we are facing ocean pollution, climate change, and increasingly serious natural disasters, what used to be a joke in the film has now become the clearest warning. Indeed, the Bible has long warned about this. In Revelation chapter 11 verse 18, the Lord said, "The Lord of heaven will destroy those who corrupt the earth." This is not just a threat, but a serious reminder. This planet is not for humans to use at will, but is a creation entrusted to them by God the Creator. When we destroy the Earth through greed, carelessness, and lack of discipline, we are rebelling against the divine order of the universe. And if the Simpsons predicted a Springfield locked in a dome because of pollution, the Bible speaks of a final wrath of God on a world that has refused to repent. Our planet is in dire straits. Climate change, pollution, and biodiversity loss are not only happening at the same time, they are getting worse. The main cause is the irresponsible exploitation of natural resources by humans, with serious and long-term consequences. According to the report, the world is falling behind in implementing the goals set to solve these problems. If there is no change soon, 2026 may not be just a warning, but the beginning of irreversible consequences. And that is why the seemingly wishful thinking predictions are now more important than ever. Virtual reality. When people leave the real world, what would happen if one day people no longer care about the real world, but only live in an illusion created by technology? In the episode Friend and Family, Mr. Burns hired the Simpson family to participate in a virtual reality experiment. They wore a device that looked a lot like Vision Pro in real life to live in the virtual world he created. A perfect family, no conflicts, no real emotions. But the scary thing came at the end of the episode. The whole city of Springfield now wears virtual reality glasses. People walk on the street, but their eyes are soulless, their heads are down, their minds drifting into the world they choose to live in, a virtual world where there is no pain but also not real. It sounds like science fiction at first, but look around us today. When Meta prepares to launch MetaQuest, when the world invests dozens of trillions of USD in metaverse, when more and more people spend their youth in virtual avatar social networking games, we are entering a fake world and are calling it real. And the Bible predicted this thousands of years ago. In 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 verses 10 to 11, because they did not receive the love of the truth to be saved, God caused them to be deceived by a deceptive power to believe a lie. When the truth is no longer loved, what will take its place? The illusion of a virtual world so perfect that it makes people abandon reality, losing the ability to feel, think, suffer, and even repent. When people can no longer distinguish between what is real and what is a lie, salvation has no place to stand. That is when a powerful illusion appears, not just technology, but the spiritual blindness prophesied in the Bible. The Simpsons may be sneering, but the Bible warns with cool water. Humans settled on Mars. Is their true destiny beyond Earth? Of all the planets in the solar system, Mars has always been the most targeted place when mankind thinks about emigrating, surviving, and starting over. And The Simpsons doesn't miss this. In one episode, Lisa Simpson volunteers for a one-way trip to Mars, where she hopes to establish the first human colony by 2026. Her worried mother Marge drags the whole family along to prevent Lisa from going alone. However, things don't go smoothly, and it's not until 2031 that they set foot on the red planet. But just when things seem to be settling down, Lisa suddenly announces that she wants to move on after Kim. It sounds funny, but in real life, SpaceX is also chasing a similar dream of sending 1 million people to live on Mars by 2050. Test flights, the Starship project, and a map of the settlement between the two planets are all underway, and 2026 is scheduled to be the launch date for the first unmanned missions to Mars. However, amid the excitement of conquering space, a sacred question echoes from the Bible. In Psalm chapter 139, verses 7 to 8, it says, "Where can I go from your spirit? I will flee from your presence. If I go to heaven, God is there. If I make my bed in hell, you are there." Even if humans could reach as far as the stars, even if they could leave Earth to find a new home, they could not escape God's presence and judgment. Are humans running away from the consequences of their actions on the planet? Is colonizing Mars the solution? Or is it just a rejection of grace to establish a godless kingdom? The Simpsons now shows a glass of distance leaving Earth, and then Venus to go after Venus. It is as if man is never satisfied and always running away from where he stands. But the Bible reminds us that it is not where we live that determines our destiny, but how our hearts stand before God. Self-driving cars, when humans let go of the steering wheel. Before smartphones became popular, The Simpsons envisioned a world where cars operated without drivers. In the episode Day of Future, The self-driving car ignored the passenger's request to stop, causing a hilarious situation. In another season 30 episode, Dear Don Steele Mecha, Homer's car suddenly takes control, taking him away without him being able to do anything. Surprisingly, this is no longer science fiction. Today, many major automakers are investing heavily in fully autonomous vehicles. In some countries, laws have begun to change to allow self-driving cars to officially circulate on the road from 2026. The biggest goal of this technology is to reduce accidents caused by human error, and Tesla, under the leadership of Elon M., is leading this race with increasingly intelligent self-driving software. Once again, it seems like The Simpsons was ahead of its time. Baby language. Translator, where crying becomes speech. A baby cries because he is hungry, tired, or needs a diaper change. In the second season, the audience is introduced to Ho, Homer's half-brother. After going bankrupt after helping Homer once, he returns in the third season with a plan to reincarnate, building a device that translates the cries of newborn babies into clear speech. He used baby Maggie as a guinea pig, trying to decipher her babbling to find out exactly what she wanted. At the time, this idea seemed completely out of fantasy, but today there are companies starting to make it a reality. Modern devices use artificial intelligence and algorithms to analyze the volume and cry rhythm, thereby distinguishing whether the baby is hungry, has a stomachache, or is sleepy. For first-time parents, this can be a great aid in reducing stress and enhancing the emotional connection between parent and child. While not perfect yet, the technology is getting closer to the point where a cry translator will become a staple in every home with a baby. Solar-powered car. Imagine a world where you could drive without gasoline, without charging, just sunlight from the sky above. It sounds like science fiction, but The Simpsons envisioned it years ago. In episode 582, Part of Glory, Lisa Simpson built a car that runs entirely on solar power and no gas. No dust, only clean energy from the sun. She entered a renewable energy race to prove the magic of her invention. As the fun began, Lisa's car took off strongly, almost finishing first. But then tragedy struck. The sun was blocked by the brewery. The car stopped just a few steps before the finish line. She was laughed at by the crowd, and her promising invention was overlooked. However, today, solar cars are no longer a distant dream. A company called Solar Power is planning to launch a fully solar-powered car as early as 2026. The limited edition can travel 400 miles per charge and absorb enough sunlight to drive an additional 40 miles per day without needing to be plugged in. Maybe Lisa was right, just right before her time. Thank you for coming along this journey. If you find it interesting, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and watch other interesting videos.